An engagement that took place in ICU had the whole world in tears. Victoria had lost hope and will to live after struggling for days in the ICU, and there was no chance of recovery. That's when her boyfriend, Nick, who was in the ICU, took out a ring from his pocket and put it on her finger. He was desperately hoping for a miracle, and all the man wanted was to spend the rest of his life with Victoria, but were his prayers answered? Victoria Angela Cuppy, a Filipina-American woman, was on a vacation in San Francisco with her friends and had gone to a club. They were enjoying their time when one of her friends dared to go and talk to a handsome-looking man who was all alone. She was initially hesitant to approach him because of her past traumatic experience with American men. However, since it was a dare, Victoria found it harmless and slowly approached the lonely man to introduce herself as Angela. She asked Nick if he was interested in dancing with her and, without any hesitation, he said yes. Nick, too, was smitten by her beauty and vibrant personality and saw no harm in starting some kind of relationship with Angela. After they danced on the floor, Nick asked for her number, to which Victoria replied that she was leaving anyway and that she would never meet him again. Turns out that he also was on a work trip and would soon leave for Illinois. Angela's jaw dropped when she heard him. Unbelievably, she too was from Illinois and both were like, no way. Was it a coincidence or fate was trying to tell them something? So Victoria agreed to give her phone number, and it is no surprise that they both met, went on several dates, and finally fell in love with each other. However, there was one thing that scared the beautiful Filipina-American woman. She had not yet disclosed to her boyfriend that she was diagnosed with lupus. Victoria thought that Nick would run away from her after she tells him, but little did she know that his love was too pure. Apart from her condition, the young lady was also worried whether the 2,000-mile distance between them, long-distance relationship, would lead to something serious. Nick assured her that he will stay by her side no matter what, and life was about to test his statement and their love. Lupus is an inflammatory disease caused when the immune system attacks its own tissues and organs. One day, Victoria's mom rushed her to the emergency room because of a fever, but they thought that it might be another lupus flare-up. Instead, it turned out to be more life-threatening, and she slowly began to develop blisters. That's when the doctors diagnosed her with Stevens-Johnson syndrome or toxic epidermal necrolysis, which is an allergic reaction to medicine. It is a rare and serious disorder of the skin and mucous membranes. The injuries were so severe that the doctors had to put Victoria in a medically induced coma. In the time of crisis, Nick left his job and immediately rushed to the hospital to be by her side. The medical staff told her family that chances of survival were extremely low, and all the time, her boyfriend made sure that the family was doing okay. Miraculously, after a month Victoria woke up from her coma, and the first thing she asked was for a mirror since she had no idea what was going on. The moment she looked at her face, Angela was disappointed and never thought that anyone would ever want her now. Still, she was critical, and the hospital staff had to take extreme care in treating the patient. At this point Victoria had lost hope and was ready to pass away. Nick was disheartened and was ready to do anything to make his girlfriend happy and optimistic. So he did that no one would have imagined. Nick took out a ring from his pocket and proposed to Victoria. Tears welled up in her eyes, and after he put the ring on her finger, she hugged him. The lovely man proposed marriage to Angela using his grandmother's engagement ring, which signified the unwavering love of his grandparents in the midst of uncertainty. Nick's presence, words of encouragement, and unconditional love not only instantly renewed her strength and courage to keep going on but also filled her heart and soul. Her recovery had been slow and long, but once Victoria was healthy, both tied the knot in a church. Victoria and Nick are living testaments that it still exists, as they already lived by the oft-quoted wedding vow that says, "For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health," although they were not married yet. Their amazing story had been aired on one of the show's episodes named Engagement Ring, which restored people's faith in true and pure love. During those times when the pain and grief she felt were unbearable already, Nick became her source of strength and courage to keep fighting. Victoria said in an interview that she stayed in the hospital for 240 days, had 3 different surgeries, had hair loss, and had to learn how to walk, talk, and eat again. This moving story also showed the importance of having a strong support system in our lives, especially during challenging times. Those people, may it be family, friends, special someone, and others, will help us endure the hardships and pain that we're going to go through and move off from them. Thus, Victoria is truly blessed to have her loved ones around her as she fights lupus. Victoria said, "I had the best support system and I owe them my recovery. There were multiple times where I would say I just wanted to leave the world, but because of them I kept fighting.